Hey guys, what's up? We are back with another video today, and today we are doing the Ohio State preview and prediction. So as always, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Help me reach 600 subscribers for the end of the summer. I'm about 80 away, so help me reach that goal of hitting that down below. Like this video if you enjoy it. Comment your thoughts and opinions down below. Because I want to respond to every single one of you guys. What do you think Ohio State's record will be? How do you think they'll do, as they have a lot of tough games up on the schedule, from Michigan to Penn State to Michigan State, if you think they're tough, or even Notre Dame. So let's get started with today's video. So their very first game of the season is against the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. This is going to be a very interesting matchup, as it will probably be, or it is a matchup at 7:30 at night against at ABC. It's going to be an incredibly tough matchup for both teams, as both teams, it's a week one matchup, so that in itself is a tough matchup with no preparation, them playing themselves. So Notre Dame, coming into this game, has a new quarterback, a new head coach. Ohio State, coming into this game, has a second-year quarterback and a third-year head coach. So you have obviously some differences there. I think that this is an interesting game for the main fact that it's a week one game. With this game being in week one, it does give the advantage to Ohio State with it being at the Horseshoe and stuff like that. I think that Ohio State will win this game, even though I'm a Notre Dame fan and I'll cheer for Notre Dame. I think that Ohio State will win this game, but if I'm an Ohio State fan, there is one thing that does give me a concern. Last year, Oregon came in and beat you guys without their two best defensive players in Kayvon Thibodeau and Travis Dye. Without those players, they still beat you, and that does give me a little bit of concern. If you're not ready at the beginning of the year in week one, like you were last year in week two where you lost to Oregon, that should concern you a little bit, but I think that they should beat Notre Dame. But it will be a very interesting game. Marcus Freeman's first regular season game and the second game he ever coached. This game with his new staff, with Tommy Rees as his offensive coordinator, and Al Golden as his defensive coordinator. Then you have another home game as you start your season off with 5 straight home games. Wow, 5 straight. Against Arkansas State, this should be a win. There shouldn't be any problem here that you should beat them easily. Then you play Toledo. This should be a little bit more of a problem, but no problem whatsoever in the grand scheme of things, as Toledo is not a great opponent, but you did struggle last year when you were playing teams like this, so don't be surprised if there may be some concern among Ohio State fans. After that, you welcome in the Wisconsin Badgers. I don't think that this is a particularly tough matchup. Wisconsin, though they are really good at slowing teams down in the run game and stuff like that, I think TreVeyon Henderson may have a tougher time with that. The problem is that Wisconsin has struggled almost their entire time at beating Ohio State, especially in Columbus. I think that this should be a win for Ohio State, and I kind of expect it to be a 21-plus point win, just for the simple fact that that's how the rivalry has kind of been. Not a rivalry, really, but the matchup has kind of been in the past couple of weeks. Or not weeks, years, I'm sorry. Then you have your next game against Rutgers. I have this as a win. I think that Rutgers, but I will say this. One thing about Rutgers is this. You beat them pretty bad last year, but Greg Schiano is starting to build something. But I think that Ohio State still should win this game pretty manageably and keep it away from upset alert for the simple fact that they don't have the cornerbacks to be able to keep guys like Jackson Smith and Jigba in check, and they don't have the offensive capability in order to keep up with Ohio State with guys like C.J. Stroud and TreVeyon Henderson as well. Then you have a road game against Michigan State. You should curb stomp them again. I highly doubt it's as bad as last year's matchup. But I think that you should get a win as you head into the bye week. And then you head back home to play in Columbus. You have this next game against the Iowa Hawkeyes. Oh my word. You guys have a lot of home games this year is what I keep looking at. You have this game. I think if this game was at Iowa, it may give you a little bit more trouble. But with this game being home against the Horseshoe, I think that Ohio State should have no issue. But there is a matchup which I do think you'll have an issue in, and that is a game at Penn State against the Nifty Lions. I think that with this game being at Happy Valley, probably a primetime matchup, a team that played you competitive last year, that almost beat you, I think that Penn State comes away with the win this time. I don't think that this is a matchup that people should take lightly. As James Franklin is a solid head coach, I don't think he's a great head coach by any means, but I think he is a solid head coach. But I think one thing that he is very good at is playing competitive and beating Ohio State. That is one thing that he has succeeded at pretty well with his time at Penn State. So I think Ohio State takes their first loss of the season. Then they head to just their second road game, or their third road game of the season, at Northwestern against Wildcats. I don't think that there should be any trouble whatsoever here. Northwestern is a team that has struggled the past couple of years. On and off. This may be their year that they're back on. 2020, they were really good. 2021, they were really bad. They may need another year of developing before they get back to playing competitive for the Big Ten West. But maybe they are. Maybe with this game being at Northwestern, it's competitive. But I doubt it. I think that last time I thought a game was going to be competitive, I got screwed for it, and that was in 2019, so I'm not going to make the same mistake twice. Then you have the home game against the Hoosiers. I have this as a win. That you shouldn't have any trouble here, unlike 2 years ago in 2020, where Indiana was led pretty well by Tom Allen. And I think Tom Allen has done a good job at Indiana. The problem is it's a really hard place to win, is Indiana. So I think that they get the W there again. Then you head to probably, I think, one of your most interesting tricks all season outside of the Penn State game. I think this is a trap game. I think with this game being at Maryland at the end of the season, watch out for Mike Loxby's crew with Toila Tagovailoa. He's the brother of Tua. I think that he can be a good quarterback. They have a lot of returning pieces. The defense is pretty solid. They brought in a lot of good defensive line recruits and linebackers recruits in the 2021 class. Now they're all sophomores. It's Tagovailoa's it's his third season, I could find this game interesting, and watch out for this game because this may be a game in which Maryland does play competitive in it. But I think with all that, I still think Ohio State will win. I don't see any reason why they wouldn't, heading into their rival matchup against Michigan. This game is going to be a bad one for Michigan. I think Michigan's going to get absolutely blown out of the waters. I don't think that Jim Harbaugh is that great of a coach particularly, and I think Ryan Day has really proven himself to be a top 5 level head coach in college football, though I think a lot of it was because he inherited a very successful program from Urban Meyer, but now he's getting his own recruits, so maybe it's him too, but I still think he's using Urban Meyer's footprint. So as always, that's going to wrap it up for today's video. Hit the 2 videos down below. Well, one will be a playlist. And hit the subscribe button up here. And as always, have a great day. Bye, guys.